Hello, everybody. Good morning, and thanks for joining this session. Apologies for this delay, which was caused by a technical problem. I'll try to recover the time that we have lost, and I'll introduce you to the world of refrigeration today. We are Epta, a leader in commercial refrigeration solutions for food retail and for food and beverage and for HoReCa sectors. And the first thing I want to mention to you is that probably you are all aware, but not everybody, that we have a new regulation in place that is established and enforced since March this year. And it's a regulation that challenges the control on the use and the consumption of fluorinated gases, called F-gas regulation, which is particularly important for our sector. Why? Because we use refrigerants all the time. Our units, our equipment is using refrigerant. And the refrigerant, are not all the same. Some of them have serious environmental impacts, some not. But we will go into this detail later. And this regulation introduces measures to control, of course, as I said, to limit the use of F-gases and in particular HFCs. What we find in this regulation is two types of measure. One is a type of measure regarding the possibility to place on the market new products with certain refrigerants, with certain HFCs and F-gases. And other measures are there to control the use of equipment using F-gases, because F-gases have environmental impacts. They are, first of all, climate warmers. And every F-gas, every refrigerant, chemical, and fluorinated has an impact on the environment in terms of global warming. And this impact is determined in an index that is called the Global Warming Potential, GWP. And the F-gas regulation establishes precise limits for the use of F-gases based on the GWP, and also measures to control the use of these fluorinated gases as they are climate impacting substances. The new F-gas regulation has a key scheme inside, which is probably the most important measure, is the reduction, the phase down of HFCs. HFCs are potent climate warmers that have to be reduced in their use according to the time scale, as you can see in the print. You can see that there is a light gray line, which is the old regulation, the previous one made in 2014. And there is a new regulation in place, that is the new one in force starting from this year, that cuts, phased down and then out the use of HFCs from the market, from new products, and the consumption of HFCs for maintenance and all the uses of HFCs, going down to zero in 2050. That means we will have to live without HFCs by 2050. And that's the first key takeaway from this picture. The second takeaway is you can see, especially before 2030, what is the level, the speed of cut, of phase down of HFCs. It's particularly steep, especially in the years 2027 and 2030. What does it mean? Controlling and reducing the availability on the market of HFCs is a fact, and it's happening very soon. It's happening in the next few years. From now to 2030, we are going to reduce the use of HFCs by 6 or 7 times. And it's particularly impressive because this amount of HFCs will have to be sufficient for all the sectors that are using HFCs. So not only refrigeration, but also air conditioning, heat pumps, medical devices, fire extinguishers. Every sector using HFCs will have to live without and will have to reduce its use by 6 times before 2030. And this is particularly important because the level we have to reach in 2030 means, actually, you can read it as there won't be any more HFCs to do new products. The second and the third takeaway, it's most important, that is not sustainable to develop technologies using HFCs. Why? Because any new technology can be used only for 2-3 years. So it's not sustainable. It's a waste of money. And this is exactly the reason why in all the exhibition, in all the booths, you find more and more products using natural refrigerants. And we do the same. As Epta, we have been leaders in developing technologies using CO2 for centralized systems and propane for self-contained units. And this is our technology today and since the last 10 years. We have phased out HFCs already nearly 10 years ago. Why? Because we knew that we would come at a point where the climate impact and the chemical impacts on the environment would limit the use of HFCs. So that was a strategical decision for our company to switch entirely our technologies into the area of natural refrigerants. So this is very important. And the consequence in reducing the quantities allowed to circulate in the market of HFCs is pretty obvious. In presence of a stable demand coming from the maintenance of existing systems, of course, reducing the quantities means increasing price. And this is exactly what we see. We see that especially in the last 2 years, we are witnessing an increase in price of these kind of refrigerants, of HFCs, which is really dramatic. They are skyrocketing in their price, and it's not over. In the next years, these prices will increase further. And at the point where, of course, as you have seen the steep down schedule, we will be in a situation that our clients using HFCs won't be able to find HFCs anymore in the market. So shortage risk is there. And we have already, since long time, tried to be responsible and advise our clients when they have systems running with HFCs, hey, look, you can't go on all the time as long as you want with HFCs. You have to do something on your system. You have to retrofit and turn your technologies into natural refrigerants, because otherwise you will come to a point when you will find no refrigerant in the market, and then you are going to be into trouble. There's nowhere to run to at that point. So you have to think and plan it in advance. And the measures regarding new products included in the F-gas regulation are particularly impactful. And as you can see, by 2030, which is for our industry, for any kind of industry in our field, is tomorrow morning, we will have to live with only refrigerants having a GWP lower than 150, which is particularly low. And at the moment, it allows us to use only natural refrigerants, CO2 and propane for our systems, especially the centralized systems which we use for medium, large supermarkets need to be CO2 and are to CO2 already. Also, it's not only about new products, it's also about maintenance. And this is another very impactful point in the F-gas regulation. The use of F-gases for the maintenance of existing systems is limited to 750 starting from 2032. And this means that all the refrigerants, HFCs, that have been used for a long time will disappear from the market, also for the maintenance of systems, which requires that clients, retailers, need to replace their system earlier if they want to be on a safe place by 2032 and continue using their equipment. So as you can see, it's a global transition to natural refrigerants. And it's very important. Another reason why natural refrigerants are becoming more and more popular and used is the PFAS issue. Maybe most of you know already what is the PFAS issue, but we are having a very, very, very serious problem with PFAS substances these years. We have a problem because they are toxic. They are proven to be dangerous for human health and for the environment. And we are talking about approximately 10,000 different substances used throughout many, many, many sectors, including cooling and heating, because F-gases are nearly the totality of them, except very, very few of them, they are PFAS. And there is supposed to be a regulation in place, a process that is starting now, and that will come to a point, a serious point of a turning point when it will become the proposal for a new regulation very soon, that will limit the use of PFAS substances from all industries. And remember that fluorinated gases are considered by the agency, the European Chemical Agency, are rated 50% of the total emission of PFAS substances globally in Europe. 50% depends on fluorinated gases. So you can imagine that it will be, for sure, one of the first sectors to be attacked by the new regulations. And of course, I can't show you a timeline for regulation because it's still in the phase of impact assessment, but we have serious rumors that it will come to a regulation in inclusion on the REACH regulation very soon. Another point to consider about F-gases. When choosing a refrigerant, we tend to consider 5 pillars. What is the right refrigerant for our new technologies for the future? Of course, it's a very complicated question. And what we try to do is we tend to consider primarily 5 points: investment cost, standard and legislation, complexity of the equipment, risk awareness, and market readiness of technologies. These 5 points, in our view, from our perspective of leader in refrigeration, are all in favor of natural refrigerants, all of them. There is no regulation, present and future, that will limit the use of natural refrigerants from any kind of environmental perspective. That's very important, because natural refrigerants are natural substances that are already present since the beginning of this planet, of life on Earth, in the atmosphere. So they are free from any chemical impact, and that's the main asset of these substances. As I said, we are doing everything with natural refrigerants. All possibilities, all products are available, and there is absolutely no barrier in using them for any kind of need in the refrigeration industry. But looking only at refrigerants is just a part of sustainability. Sustainability is much wider, and today, more than ever, we are challenging a new level of sustainability, a global sustainability of our products. What we want to have very soon in the market is only sustainable products which are considered as such through all our complete life cycle. So we are moving into a new level of sustainability that is not only limited to the use of refrigerants. This is, of course, a discussion that is gone, but also to the materials that we use for our products, the substances that our products may release in the ambient, circular economy, challenging the fact that materials and resources in our planet are limited and must be used with a serious responsibility. So we have to use more and more materials which are recycled and recyclable at the end of the life of the product. And this is, of course, a key issue today for the development. The driver of development in our sector is becoming the cradle-to-gate sustainability. Okay, cradle-to-gate means all the aspects related to sourcing materials, manufacturing, use, and dismantling at the end of the life our products. Reducing emissions require a global view on everything that we do as a company. So sustainability is now more than only refrigerants. About refrigerants, we've discussed enough, and now it's time to challenge a new level. I would like to just leave you with a message. Monitor what is happening in sustainability in our sector, because more and more you will see coming from manufacturers data regarding carbon emission, about circular economy, about recyclability of products, which is really a key point for our development, for our innovation in the future. And with this, I thank you very much. I tried to recover as much as possible of the technical problems we had at the start. And I wish you a very nice day. And please come and join us to our stand in Epta stand in the hall number 7. You are welcome, and we are expecting you all. Thank you.